So the next lesson is a lesson that helps people to improve their side bending. This is important. Often people complain about or have challenges with their neck and they're not aware, what can I do to get better? And this chair can help you to find movement over the entire length of your spine in side bending. And we're going to do a little exercise around that. So before we get onto the chair, just stand there and notice how you stand, your sense of weight over each leg. And begin to shift your weight more over one leg and just feel how it feels to stand on that leg. Did you shift your weight to the right or to the left? Just notice how stable it feels. And then shift your weight more onto the other leg. And notice if you can feel a difference in your sense of stability if you go over one leg or the other leg. I see some people closing their eyes. Often that helps us to sense more actually. Yeah? If we don't feel, if it doesn't feel like unsafe. Good. Now, remember that, and we will come back to it at the end of this little exercise. Please come and sit on your chair. And one of the features of this Course 360 is that it has the ability to do a side bending motion very nice and easily. So we're going to explore that today. Begin to do a little bit of a side bending left and right, and notice how it feels to do it to the left side, to the right side, just as far as very easy, and observe what happens throughout your whole self. When you do a side bending to the right, what is actually your head doing? Is your head staying in the center, or is your head beginning to move to one side? And you don't have to limit it in any way, you just pay attention to what happens. Now, place your right hand on the top of the head so that your elbow is out to the side. And start with a small, gentle movement that you begin to side bend to your right so that the elbow moves more in the direction of the floor, and then you come back. A small, gentle movement. And notice how you do that. What happens actually in your sitting? Like, where does the chair tilt to? Does the chair tilt to the right or to the left? We can see different things happen for different people. And there is not a right or wrong, just there are different options. Now, everybody, when you do a side bend to the right, it's gentle without pulling on the head. So it's not like a movement where you want to put a crank in your neck. Yeah? It's really like a side bending of the whole body to the, and do that and let the chair tilt a little bit to the right and see how far you can do that with ease. How balanced does it feel? And you may discover that you don't want to go so far in order not to lose your balance. Right? Now, can you do a side bending to your right and shift your weight more over onto the left side of the chair? And notice what that does to the whole movement through your chest. If you can feel how everything, and then you move back again. So not holding one position, but moving into the position and then out of it. Notice if you can feel better how the whole back and spine begins to move. Very nice. Good. Then leave that and take your hand down and pause a moment. Notice how it feels to sit. Okay? Now let's explore the other side. And for many people, one side can feel very different from the other side. So I encourage you not to push it too far, but go gently. Please place your left hand on top of the head so that the elbow is pointing not forwards relative to your own position, but to the side. And do a movement of side bending to your left this time. And notice how you do that. If you do a side bending to the left, notice how the head moves through space and how your whole chest can begin to move. And how you can use the chair to help you. How could you use the chair to make this a little bit easier? If you would have to side bend to one side, can you see that almost everybody begins to side bend now with their chair to the right, so that the armpit on the left side and the left hip move towards each other, and then they come back. And notice that this creates a movement all the way through the spine, that one side shortens and the other side lengthens a bit. And go gently, without pushing too far. Notice if you can feel the movement also in your feet, that you use your feet slightly differently. Can you notice that you use one leg more than the other? Good. Now, take your hands down and pause a moment. It's often the case that we think it's only one part of ourselves that moves, but in fact, when we move, it's always the whole person that moves. And this chair can help us to become more aware of that. Now, interlace your hands and place the interlaced hands on top of your head so that the elbows are pointing out to the side. And we're going to explore the movements to either side. So do a side bending to the side that's easier for you. Go with side bending to whichever side you want to do it spontaneously. And just see side bending. So now everybody side bends to the right actually. And then go back and go to the left. And see how you can do that. And feeling your chest moving. Feeling how the ribs can become part of the movement. That they can shorten on one side and they can lengthen on the other side. And you can use the chair in different ways. You can do it like that the side really move towards each other, or you can explore another way without going too far so that you don't lose balance. Just like that you have a little bit of a playful attitude. And notice, most likely you can discover that one side is easier. We all have one side that we bend to with more ease. Good. Now leave all that, take your hands down and notice how it feels to sit. If sitting feels in any way different than when you started, how much effort does it take to be upright? That you found your natural place on the chair. And then please get yourself up and come back to the place where you stood before. And notice how it is to stand after having done this little exercise. Your sense of balance over your legs, your sense of posture, how grounded do you feel, how tall do you feel. And shift your weight more over one leg and feel how it is to stand over that leg. And then shift your weight more over onto the other leg. And notice if it feels in any way altered, slightly different. Good. And let's see, after you've done these little movement explorations, that you begin to walk around and feel how it is to walk, if walking feels different.